Commission, or the BTRC. Located at 119.1 degrees east, Bangabandhu Satellite 1 will provide direct-to-home services, video distribution, and very small aperture terminal communications across Bangladesh. The satellite will also provide broadband connectivity to rural areas throughout the country. The satellite's mission is expected to last at least 15 years. The launch of Bangabandhu Satellite 1 is a key milestone for the country of Bangladesh, and to acknowledge this effort, we have a special message from the CEO of Thales Alenia Space, and its messages to the teams who made this mission possible.
Today is an important day for Bangladesh and for all of us. Bangabandhu Satellite 1 is, without any doubt, a pioneering and ambitious space program that will mark the history of Bangladesh. And I'm very proud of Thales Alenia Space to be part of this exciting story. Bangabandhu Satellite 1 is designed to reduce the digital divide in Bangladesh by providing broadcasting and communication services all over the country, and particularly in rural zones. This satellite will highly contribute to the economic development of Bangladesh. Being the country's first telecom satellite, it also represents the confirmation of Bangladesh's entry into the high-tech space sphere. And at Thales Alenia Space, we are delighted to contribute and make this happen. The teams from Bangladesh worked with us in a very professional and human way. We will never forget the emotional and decisive moments of the satellite's acceptance review in our clean rooms. The entire delegation, with the Bangladeshi flag in their hands, began to sing in unison in front of the huge silvery mass of the Bangabandhu Satellite 1. It's moments like these that really lend meaning to our motto, Space for Life. I would like to congratulate all teams involved for doing such a fantastic job. Thales Alenia Space teams for their large contribution and for having delivered the satellite on time. Spectra, our efficient satellite ground segment partner in Bangladesh, and SPI team for the close cooperation with our teams along the program. Finally, I would like to warmly thank BTRC for entrusting us with the first satellite. From beginning to end, you can count on Thales Alenia Space. Joy Bangabandhu, joy Bangladesh.
We're now at about T minus 6 minutes and 30 seconds, and at this point, stage 1 and stage 2 are just about fully loaded with almost 1 million pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen. The second stage is 100% full of RP1 and about 85% full of liquid oxygen. The first stage is just under 100% of RP1 and at about 98% of liquid oxygen. We'll continue topping both stages off until about T minus 2 minutes to keep the propellants as cold and therefore as dense as possible. That way we can fit as much propellant onto the vehicle to loft the satellite this afternoon. Around the T minus 7 minute mark, we began our engine chill procedure. The propellants are much colder than the engines, and so it's important to get the engines to the correct temperature by slowly flowing propellant through them before ignition. Liquid oxygen in particular is so much colder that it would turn into a gas upon first contact, which would be a pretty hard start for the engine. The next major activities, the strong back, that's the white structure right next to Falcon 9 there, will open and slightly retract away from the rocket. It will fully recline as soon as Falcon 9 leaves the pad. At T minus 3 minutes, we'll be performing an engine wiggle. That's double checking to make sure that the thrust vector control system is working properly. That's the system that allows the engines to steer Falcon 9 during ascent. At T minus 60 seconds, you'll hear that Falcon 9 is in startup mode, which means that the rocket's internal flight computers have taken over the countdown. One more interesting change for this mission in particular relates to how we're using the Merlin engines. In Block 4, the engines were used with a constant chamber pressure. Because engine thrust depends on both chamber pressure and external atmospheric pressure, the engine thrust would slowly increase by up to 10 or 15,000 pounds per engine during ascent. The difference here is that for Block 5, we'll be maintaining a constant thrust of 190,000 pound force until cutoff. which means that we'll be slowly decreasing the engines chamber pressures over time in order to compensate for the decreasing atmospheric pressure during that ascent. Again, for today's mission, we are looking to recover the first stage. This is the fully reusable version of at least 10 times reuse and potentially up to 100. The drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, is currently on standby in the Atlantic Ocean, ready to catch the first stage during its descent. Bangabandhu Satellite 1 is currently looking pretty healthy. They're entirely healthy, and we're excited to get that into its geostationary transfer orbit. The range is currently go, and the weather is also still looking good enough for us to launch today. At this point, we're just outside of T-minus 3 minutes, so let's listen in to the last few minutes of terminal count.
Stage 1, life cycle complete. Bleed verification. Strong back lower complete 88.5 degrees.
রকেটটা তো আশেপাশে পড়ে এই একটা রকেট কিন্তু পরে দ্বিতীয়বার আর চালাইতে পারে পরে এটা আবার সংস্কার করার লাগবে আর কি
Stage 2, dumping of full secure.
আর রকেটটা পড়ে যায় না বলে ছেড়ে দিয়া কিটা করতেছে কিটা বলে কি
Stage 2 launch throttle main.
কি ব্যাপার সাদা খাতা লাগে
Stage 2, life cycle complete. Falcon 9 is on internal power.
আশেপাশে কোনো মানুষ
দেখি দুয়ারের সাথে সাথে বুঝছস এই দৌড়ে তো আগে সেরকম দেখা যায়
Gas closeouts is running.
আশেপাশে কোনো মানুষ আগুন দিতে
M1D fuel bleed complete.
we like this
Copy countdown, we've had a launch abort sequence start.
minute কমাটো
It looks like just after Falcon 9 entered startup mode, it threw an abort. We're currently looking into a little more details to see if we're able to continue today's mission. If not, we'll be using our backup day tomorrow at about the same time.
কমাই দিব মায়া তুমি দেখেন সেকেন্ড দেবো নাকি হ্যাঁ
নির্দেশ
না
এই তো।
If you're just joining us, it appears we had an abort thrown by the vehicle just after it entered startup mode. These abort sequences are important to make sure that the Falcon 9 is in its best shape in time for any launch. So we're much happier to take those aborts beforehand rather than continue when there's any risk to the vehicle. If we have to go tomorrow, we'll be checking to see exactly what was happening through the abort today. The backup launch window opens tomorrow at 4:14 p.m. Eastern Time, or 8:14 Universal Coordinated Time, and closes at 6:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time, or 10:21 Universal Coordinated Time. Hang on for a few more moments. We're waiting for official word from the countdown net, and we'll get back to you shortly.
বেটিয়া দিবি আছে
ওই যে চিবাতে হ্যাঁ পুরো লাইক করবে
কি কোনো কি সজাগে পুরো ওইটা
পয়লা লাগবে সুন্দর প্রথম
হবে না নাকি কালকে হেঁটে যাবো সারা নাকি
ওরে হলো
To discover the cause of the abort.
দৌড়া ফেলা মজা লঞ্চ
মজা না দেখবো না কালকে কালকে ওই ব্যাপারে কথা দুপুর বিজনেস বুঝবিতে সাইডে পাঁচ করে দুই করবো